Hi everyone, this is author Rhiannon D'Averc. Now, City Limits Publishing have asked me to talk to you about the 5 books that have most influenced me as an author. So I'm super excited to introduce these books to you, some of my favourite books that I've ever read. Some of them I think it's quite obvious how they've impacted my style, and you can probably see a little bit of it in my writing. Some of them a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to start. I've got a huge pile of books, and I mean huge, because a lot of them sort of look like that. So let's get started and dive in. I'm going to begin with this one actually. So this is The Brothers Karamazov. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that actually, now that I think about it. By Fyodor Dostoevsky. And I love Dostoevsky. I can't get enough of Dostoevsky basically, and this is my favourite of his books. Probably close second would be The Idiot, but I picked this one out because the narrative style is really striking, and the format and the way the book works. So it's a murder mystery, and if you guys know anything about me, I actually write crime fiction as well as young adult, and this is a crime novel, so that kind of appealed to me a lot, working out who killed the father of the kind of main characters. But the murder doesn't even happen until sort of about there or somewhere. Like it's all the way right at the end of the book. And all of that before that is just world building and philosophy, character explorations. It's quite an experimental work, and I really love that. I just really love the idea of playing around with form, experimenting, doing something unexpected. And this works, for me at least. It really works. So I find that quite an exciting book. And I just love Dostoevsky's style. The second book that I'm going to bring up is one that is probably a lot less known than the first one. A lot less known. This is The Shimmer. Collected stories. This happens to be the 2016 one, but I could just as easily have picked any of their volumes. I actually read these in 2016 online, and I only just recently picked up the actual physical copy of it because I miss Shimmer magazine because it's gone. It no longer exists. So sad. Well, the good thing is that their website is still up, so you can still read a lot of the stories that they published, but no new stories, which is just terribly, terribly sad. But I love the kind of thing that they used to publish. These short stories, I think if anybody reads my short stories, I think that they're a lot more influenced by this kind of thing than my long form fiction is. It's really just a magical collection of stories that take you to different worlds. Sometimes literally, sometimes in the sense of introducing magic or strange things that can't be explained into our world. And I really love, again, it's about exploration and experimentation. It's about creating something new. I think I've probably done, you can probably see that in Mirror's War, where I've taken our world and kind of turned it up to the maximum, I suppose, of what could possibly go wrong. Not all of these are like that. Some of them are magical because they're full of hope. A lot of them, not. But I love a bit of tragedy. I love a bit of despair, and I love this book. Next one is going to be Haruki Murakami. Now, again, I could really pick about 500 of his books. Not that he's written 500, but I have read every single one of them that he's written. Sorry. This is the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, and I picked it simply because it's the first of his books that I ever read. Very well read. You can see sort of stains and creases all along the cover. I was reading this on my lunch break at a job I had when I was 18, so that's how old that is. This is just really indicative of his style in general, I think. I think with Murakami, what I really took from reading him and falling in love with his work is the style of less is more. Like, it doesn't have to be weirdly flowery language. It doesn't have to be sounding like you're in a Jane Austen book, because, you know, for a lot of my life, I read basically just classics and not really anything else. Dostoevsky, Austen, Brontes, all of the rest of that. And when I sort of read this one, I kind of was open to this world of, you can tell fantastical stories that have strange happenings in them and unexplainable things and maybe magic, but it's not really clear. And it doesn't have to be written like The Lord of the Rings. It can be written in plain, simple language, and that actually can be more effective. So that's one of the reasons why I love Murakami. And again, I do love strange tales, strange things that happen. I'm trying to do this really quickly, but I know I have so much to say about each book. The next book is The Hunger Games. I have a very nice edition. Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. It doesn't really come out of the box very well, but there we go. This is a special book to me. I mean, I know a lot of people like this book and like this series. I'm not alone in that. A lot of people criticise it as well, but for me... So I didn't actually read the book first, I went to see the movie first. And the reason for that is I didn't really read young adult books at all. Maybe if it was a young adult book that had been released in the 1800s, sure. But I didn't really read contemporary young adult fiction. Probably until... Well, I guess until this came into the cinema, and this was actually really what kicked me off. I loved the film, and I thought, I want to dive into this world, so I picked up the book. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then I picked up the other two books. I read those within 24 hours each. And it really opened my mind, actually, to the possibilities of young adult fiction being a no longer young adult, I guess. Certainly stopped reading titles for people my age when I was about 11. So it brought me back down to earth, maybe. Maybe I was being a bit snobbish about what I was picking to read. And obviously with a young adult book coming out myself now, reading young adult fiction is a really good idea if you actually want to get into a genre, to know what else is in the market. And final book, number 5 that I've chosen, is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I don't actually like this cover. I wish I'd got one with a nicer cover, but there you go. And this again actually was another one that I watched the film first, and then it kind of occurred to me, hang on, I love Haruki Murakami, why have I never read this other Japanese author that everyone always goes on about? And it's heartbreaking, it's absolutely heartbreaking. Cried multiple times while reading this, and I think that's something that carries over into my work as well, that I like the tragedy, as I said. I like to play with stories where the heroes don't necessarily win, or things don't turn out fabulous for them. Realism, I suppose I would really call it. Things aren't like a fairy book. That's it. So those are 5 books which really have influenced my writing. I think you can, if you pick up Mirror's War, I think you'll be able to see at least a couple of those kind of influences working within my own framework. I really recommend each of them, so if you haven't read them, and you're waiting for something to read while you're waiting for mine to come out, then, you know, get yourself prepped. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Mirror's War is out on the 2nd of March 2021. So if you're reading this after that date, there's no excuse. You can just hop right over to Amazon and pick yourself up a copy. Alright, thank you for listening. See you next time.